State of Origin, AFLX, the EJ Whitton's Legends match, and the Pre-Season Cup. These are all former Aussie rules competitions. But what if I told you there was one that almost no one remembers? This is the story of the Foxtel Cup, the AFL's forgotten second competition. In 2010, the AFL announced this tournament, then known as the League's Championship Cup, which would be run similar to the Papa John's Trophy in English soccer, which would be contested by the best state league teams from each state. The original plan was to invite the top 3 teams from the SANFL, VFL and WAFL, the top 2 teams from the QAFL, and the top team from the Tasmanian Football League, and AFL Canberra and Sydney. The GWS Giants, then playing in the NEFL in preparation for their AFL debut, and the NT Thunder received special invitations to the first season of the competition. However, the 3 SANFL teams rejected their invitations to participate in the competition, forcing the competition to go with the next best 3 teams from the SANFL. The 16 teams participating in this first competition were, from the ACT, the Ainslie Football Club, from WA, Claremont, East Perth and Swan districts, from South Australia, North Adelaide, West Adelaide and the Port Adelaide Magpies, the Sydney Hills Eagles from New South Wales, the Clarence Kangaroos from Tasmania, Labrador and Morningside from Queensland, North Ballarat, Northern Ballance and Williamstown from the VFL, and the NT Thunder and GWS Giants from the NEFL. The competition was formatted as a knockout competition that ran like the knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup or the Euros in soccer, starting with a first round of 16 teams, then halving to 8 for the quarters, and 4 for the semis, and obviously 2 for the grand final. Matches in the competition were mostly played as curtain raisers to AFL at the start, with some standalone and some played post-game at AFL matches. The matches were dominated by the teams from the big 3 leagues, the SANFL, VFL and WAFL, with all of the others being eliminated in the first round, except the NT Thunder, who played Morningside. The Thunder were eliminated by East Perth in the next round. For the semi-finals, all of the games were standalone, with Williamstown defeating East Perth at Etihad and Claremont defeating Port Adelaide at Subiaco. The first ever Foxtel Cup Grand Final would be held at Subiaco on the 6th of August, as WAFL side Claremont took on VFL side Williamstown. Williamstown would win the match 9-5 to 5-8 in front of a crowd of only 1,400, highlighting the little amount of fans who actually cared about the competition, with an attendance of nearly 100 times less than that of an AFL Grand Final. Despite the nearly 0 fans attending the games, it was announced that it had been locked away for the next 5 years. The competition would return for 2012, featuring 8 new teams: the Burnie Dockers, Launceston Blues, Mount Gravatt, West Perth, Subiaco, South Adelaide, Port Melbourne and Werribee. The first round of the season would see Werribee break the record margin and score in a game of the Foxtel Cup, beating Burnie 165 to 32. The grand final will be held at Subiaco once again, as Claremont made a second straight grand final, this time winning it by 44 points over Werribee. The competition will be reduced to 10 teams for the 2013 season, with the format being revamped to include a qualifying round, round 1, the semi-finals and the grand final. 4 new clubs would make their cup debuts in East Fremantle, Southport, Queanbeyan and Norwood, with East Fremantle being the most successful out of the 4, making the grand final where they kicked an atrocious St Kilda-like 2-16 to lose the grand final 28 to 32 to West Adelaide. The competition was reduced further for 2014, scaling back to just 9 clubs with only 1 qualifying round. They would also go from being mostly curtain raiser games until the semis to fully standalone, something that was sure to have had an effect on the attendance. Werribee's record score and margin were beaten by Apsley in the qualifier against Belconnen, when they defeated them 173 to 17. Williamstown would defeat West Perth at what is now known as GMHBA Stadium to win their record second ever Foxtel Cup premiership in what would be the last ever Foxtel Cup game, as in November of 2014, the WA Football Commission reported that Foxtel had pulled out of the competition to focus its spending on alternate football content. The demise of the Foxtel Cup was unfortunate, as on paper it seemed a good concept, getting the top state league teams to play against each other, but ultimately due to a lack of supporters and fans showing up at the games, the cancelling of the tournament became inevitable. While I would like to see something similar to this return, it would have to be on a much bigger scale, involving the teams from all competitions all over the country, including the AFL, working similar to the FA Cup in England. One of the biggest problems with the Foxtel Cup was that games were played at major stadiums such as the MCG and Subiaco, rather than the much smaller and cheaper to operate stadiums the clubs were based at. Think about it, no one wants to watch Port Melbourne take on West Adelaide at the MCG, but at Northport Oval, you're more likely to get a higher percentage of capacity filled. In this FA Cup style tournament I'm proposing, I feel like it is key to have games played at the home ground of the lower ranked club. Think about how cool it would be to see an AFL club playing your local team at your local oval. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It was really help the channel.